In the vast landscape of true crime, some stories linger, not just for their tragic circumstances, but for the unwavering dedication of those left behind. This is the story of Alyssa Turney, a vibrant 17-year-old whose sudden disappearance in 2001 left a gaping hole in the lives of her loved ones. But more than just a cold case, this is a testament to the power of a sister's love and the relentless pursuit of justice in the face of systemic failures. We first introduced you to Alyssa Turney, a teenager on the cusp of adulthood, living in Phoenix, Arizona. By all accounts, she was a typical teenager, navigating school, friendships, and the complexities of family life. But beneath the surface, tensions simmered, particularly in her relationship with her stepfather, Michael Turney. Alyssa shared an especially close bond with her younger sister, Sarah. Their connection was a source of strength and joy in their lives. Sarah looked up to Alyssa, and their shared experiences created an unbreakable sisterly tie. It's this bond that would ultimately fuel an extraordinary fight for truth. The events leading up to Alyssa's disappearance were marked by a disturbing argument with Michael Turney. The details remained shrouded in suspicion, but what followed was even more unsettling. Michael Turney claimed that Alyssa had simply run away, a narrative that, from the outset, felt deeply wrong to those who knew her best. There were no notes, no packed bags, no indication that Alyssa, deeply connected to her sister and her life, would willingly vanish without a trace. For 7 long years, Alyssa Turney's disappearance remained a cold case. The Phoenix Police Department, in what many would later see as a critical failure, closed the investigation, labeling Alyssa as a teenage runaway. This decision, made despite the glaring lack of any supporting evidence. No leads, no witnesses, no indication she had left Arizona, compounded the family's anguish and allowed doubt to fester. Then, in 2008, a flicker of hope emerged, quickly followed by a chilling dead end. Thomas Heimer, a convicted serial killer incarcerated far from Arizona, confessed to Alyssa's murder. The confession sent a shockwave through the already grieving family and briefly reignited the dormant investigation. However, the hope was short-lived. Investigators meticulously examined Heimer's claims and soon discovered a crucial inconsistency. Heimer had never even been in Arizona during the time of Alyssa's disappearance. This false lead, while ultimately fruitless, served a critical purpose. It forced law enforcement to revisit the case, to look again with fresh eyes. And this time, the inconsistencies, the gaping holes in the runaway narrative began to surface. Seasoned detectives, taking a second look, were troubled by what they found. The renewed scrutiny led to a significant development. In 2008, armed with a warrant, authorities executed a raid on Michael Turney's home. What they unearthed was not the scene of a grieving father, but something far more disturbing, something that painted a picture of deep paranoia and control. The inventory of Turney's home read like a script from a thriller. Investigators discovered a staggering 26 homemade explosive devices, a cache that raised serious questions about his mental state and potential for violence. Adding to this unsettling discovery was a massive collection of surveillance tapes. Hundreds upon hundreds of hours of recordings, suggesting an obsessive need to document and control his surroundings. They also found rifles, handguns, and a significant amount of ammunition. Perhaps the most bizarre piece of evidence was a 98-page document penned by Michael Turney himself. This rambling manifesto detailed an elaborate conspiracy against him, allegedly orchestrated by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. The document painted a picture of a man consumed by paranoia and suspicion. Yet, amidst this overwhelming collection of recordings, one crucial element was conspicuously absent: any footage from May 17, 2001, the very day Alyssa disappeared. Despite Michael Turney's seemingly compulsive recording habits, there were no tapes from that pivotal day. His explanation, that they were either erased or stolen, rang hollow to investigators. The absence of this footage, coupled with the other disturbing discoveries, solidified Michael Turney's status as a person of interest in his stepdaughter's disappearance. Despite the mountain of suspicion and the unsettling discoveries within his home, law enforcement still lacked the concrete evidence needed to bring charges against Michael Turney. The case, once again, descended into the frustrating silence of a cold case file. But the silence didn't last. For Sarah Turney, Alyssa's younger sister, the closure of the case was not an ending, but a call to action. As she grew into adulthood, the unanswered questions surrounding her sister's disappearance gnawed at her. She embarked on a personal quest for truth, spending years tirelessly asking questions, filing countless public records requests, and demanding answers from the authorities who had seemingly given up. In 2017, Sarah found a powerful new platform for her advocacy, a podcast she aptly named Voices for Justice. Through this medium, she dedicated herself entirely to unraveling the mystery of Alyssa's disappearance, meticulously laying out the facts, the inconsistencies, and her unwavering belief in her stepfather's involvement. Narrator. Then came TikTok and everything changed. Sarah recognized the immense power of this social media platform to reach a vast audience. She began sharing her story in short, emotionally charged, and direct videos. Within months, Alyssa's story and Sarah's determined fight went viral. Millions of people across the globe were captivated by her raw honesty and her unwavering commitment. One particularly poignant clip showed Sarah, tears streaming down her face, holding a cherished photograph of Alyssa, her voice breaking as she questioned why her father had never been arrested. Another video meticulously broke down the suspicious timeline of Alyssa's last known day, highlighting the inconsistencies in Michael Turney's account. People began to pay attention. They shared Sarah's videos, they asked questions, they amplified her voice. Sarah's tireless online campaign created a wave of public pressure on law enforcement, a pressure they could no longer ignore. The collective voice of millions demanded answers for Alyssa. In August 2020, nearly 2 decades after Alyssa Turney vanished, a moment many thought would never come finally arrived. Michael Turney was arrested. The news sent shockwaves not only through the local community but across the internet, where Sarah's followers had been diligently tracking every development. However, the charges were not what many expected. He wasn't arrested for kidnapping, nor for the presumed murder of Alyssa. Instead, Michael Turney was charged with second-degree murder. The charges were based largely on circumstantial evidence gathered over the years and old witness statements that had taken on new significance in light of Sarah's relentless advocacy and the evidence found in his home. For Sarah, it was a profoundly bittersweet moment. After years of unwavering determination and countless pleas for justice, her father was finally facing trial. But the absence of Alyssa's body, the lack of direct physical evidence linking him to her disappearance, cast a long shadow over the proceedings. Could a conviction even be possible under these circumstances? In 2023, the trial of Michael Turney began. The prosecution meticulously laid out the case against him, highlighting his suspicious behavior in the aftermath of Alyssa's disappearance, the unsettling discoveries in his home, including the missing surveillance tapes from the day she vanished, and his controlling nature. They also presented statements Alyssa had made to others before she disappeared, alleging that her father had done something bad to her. Chilling foreshadowings of the tragedy to come. The defense, however, countered by emphasizing the lack of direct forensic evidence linking Michael Turney to Alyssa's disappearance. They argued there were no eyewitnesses to a crime, and the prosecution's case relied heavily on speculation and circumstantial evidence, not concrete proof. In the end, after deliberation, the jury reached a verdict: not guilty. Michael Turney was acquitted of the second-degree murder charge. The verdict left Sarah and her supporters devastated, and Alyssa's case officially remains unsolved, a painful reminder of the complexities and frustrations of the justice system. Despite the devastating outcome of the trial, Sarah Turney's fight for justice continues. Her unwavering advocacy has transformed her into a prominent figure within the true crime community, a powerful voice for victims who can no longer speak for themselves, and for families navigating the agonizing complexities of unsolved disappearances. While her father walks free, Sarah remains resolute in her belief that the truth surrounding Alyssa's disappearance is clear. She has vowed never to give up, to continue sharing Alyssa's story, to ensure that her sister is never forgotten, and to hold those responsible accountable, one way or another. If Alyssa's story has moved you, if Sarah's unwavering fight has resonated with you, please share this video. Talk about Alyssa Turney. Her story deserves to be heard. Because sometimes the loudest and most impactful voices for justice don't come from the courtroom. They come from us, the collective voice of a concerned public. Thank you for listening to The Crime Unveiled. Subscribe for more stories like this, where silence is shattered and the pursuit of truth continues.